Open space.
Good morning. It is 9 o'clock and I am calling to order the Columbia Open Space Committee for regular meeting over Thursday, August 18th at 9 a.m. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes for July 21st.
I move so. Second.
Second, good. Any discussion, corrections, omissions? Of course not, Kristen, great job.
First time I've got it.
All in favor?
Better job.
Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Okay, so moved. Okay, audience of citizens.
Yeah, how come we don't have a closed space committee? Why is it always open space?
Okay. Audience of citizens, anything in the chat?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And Tom, you're just listening. You're, okay.
Hanging out.
Okay, good. Okay. I would like to amend the agenda to add a second item under new business. And that is the Cobb Farm PD, that's purchase of development works. I just want to give an update on that. Okay. So I move we do that. Everybody. Yeah. Okay.
Without objection.
Okay, thank you. All right. Okay, under old business, is there anything new on the Amiga Real?
Right.
What? No, nothing new. Okay. Anything new on the Graham acquisition? Yeah.
No.
No, okay. I did, relating to that, in working on the management plan for the Mint Brook Reserve. I read the deeds, and as I told you last time, discovered they had no conservation language in them. So Paula Stahl has been working with the town attorney, and she does have a draft that she's working on. And I just got that recently, and I'll send that out to the rest of you to have a look at, to see if you think that's appropriate. And then we'll go from there. And if that's approved by us, by the town, then it will be added to the deed and will follow with the deed for that property and take care of things later. Okay.
Just to clarify more, I think you said this last meeting, but the town owns both those properties, both those land pieces. Yes.
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 Absolutely.
And the one at Wells Woods has the deed restrictions that the ranch had originally put on with 3 levels of restriction and what you can can't do there. The other one, which was donated to us, the conservation land, you could not do anything with that. Except I need to build a apartment. Don't know if that one. Is,
Did you end up walking that with Chris?
no, I haven't yet, we haven't booked that.
It's hard to pin per step. Okay, mapping update. Rob, do tell.
Well, you can see, I don't know if everybody can see, that's the map of the little small piece of property on Pine Street, which abuts the old T road. I did finally get out there. I was able to do, I didn't do much, so I did on my own, but I'll need your help to set the pins, so I'm scheduled the time for that. But I did meet with the old next door neighbor, came out, showed me what he thought was his property pin, which is the, if you look at this map here, it's kind of lower right hand corner. There is a pin there, but as it turns out, it was actually our property corner. His property corner is 33 feet across the old road, so be prepared for some issues there. I did actually locate the shed. I located the street line. Originally, if you saw the map I had last time, it was a straight line. We've now actually located that edge of Kinney Road, so there's an angle in it. Other than that, the area stayed the same, because actually the way they have it, the road comes in a lot quicker to Main Street than I had before, so. Being part of it, this is pretty much done, except we do need to set the pins. Typically what you do is survey, you set the pins, and if you see something, you make a slight adjustment, depending what you find. That's, should pretty much be it, so we'll be ready to talk to our next door neighbor there and try to resolve some things.
Did you say you met him out there?
Yeah,
And what was his attitude?
get off my way.
He's told the same thing that one.
He just,
He's made this whole road his yard. So it'll be a challenge. We'll have to prove it. We'll have to have a legal document that validates our.
and that's what I told him, I'm just the surveyor, I'm just doing lines. Attorneys will figure that out for us, what's going on. But he's convinced that he's got all this documentation from lawyers and surveyors. I didn't find it. Could be.
Okay, and the parking that you see on the map is actually the porch spot. So that our parking would be.
Right where the shed is.
Yeah,
that whole
where
area.
the shed.
And you said this is slow, can you get very many cars in, you think, or what's?
I get what?
Quite a few cars. but they-
8 or 10 cars if you
I
want.
mean, it slopes off, it's not dramatic. There's some drainage issue, and there's a catch basin here that flows into the left side of the property. But the right side of the property is fine, so you could have something come in, you could park this way, a number of cars. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not talking, you know, how many cars do you lose space, maybe 5, 6, something like that. You're not going on a major parking lot.
No,
So there's plenty of room to get.
5 or 6 would be fun. Yeah.
The trick though is that you should have space for a trailer, perhaps,
If you're on the horse.
Yeah, that you could do.
if you bring a horse.
The only problem, it does drop down, but it's not a cliff.
Right.
Yeah,
And most of the time of year it'd be fine. And the other one right down there on Leonard Bridge, Pine Street, that goes down. That's its fault too.
sure.
And you could certainly with little grading and stuff, you can make it.
Yeah.
It's a lot of room here for just parking. It's
Right.
not like we're not building a house.
It's actually,
You don't have septic tanks or well, all we need is an area of parking.
that's why we were excited to receive it. It is a perfect little
It is.
lot.
It's a good size.
Very good.
And it goes back 120 feet.
So we will have to budget for the removal of that shed, and it sounds like we need to do it soon.
Yeah, that's the other thing I did. I did roughly measure up the shed, and it actually has a basement in it. And the floor in there looks pretty shabby. If some kid or something got on the floor,
We didn't know that.
it's possible they could fall through, and I don't,
I'll have to make that a priority.
it looked pretty dangerous. I was scared measuring it. Like, it's pretty black.
Okay.
They'll fall down in the near future. Plus, there's a tree on top of it, by the way.
It's a tree literally growing in through
No,
the
no,
shed.
the tree is falling over and laying on the shed. So
So
it's,
it damaged the shed.
yeah,
Okay.
I mean, you couldn't damage it much, because it's pretty. It damaged it, it just started.
Doesn't that junk inside too?
Yeah, listen, I didn't go inside, there's stuff in there.
Yeah.
The guy next door told me he located some, he found pictures and stuff in there. I said, what are you doing in there?
It's probably a red branch or something.
Could be.
Hey,
I think we should have a round of applause for, well, maybe not a round.
Paul has a comment.
Yeah, quick question. What's the number of that property again? On Pine Street,
The next door neighbor is 192 Pine Street.
192? Okay,
It's right at a sharp bend in Pine.
yep.
And it's next to Infinity Farms on the left.
Oh, okay, I know where that is. And are you gonna be able to email that map you made?
Eventually, once I'm satisfied with it, I will.
Oh, okay.
And Paul, if you want, I'll have a copy in my office if you want to swing by. Just so you
Okay.
can-
Yep, thanks, Mark.
Sure.
Okay,
Well, I think we should thank you for all your hard work.
yes, thank you.
If you do need help when you're setting the pins, I'd be interested in helping too.
There you go. All the hell, well, you two guys go do it. I don't want to do it.
Okay.
We'll talk at the meeting. We'll have something for you.
But do we need to set the pins for our conservation access to the D Ram conservation plan?
Did we find it?
Yeah, we found some of the pins that mark the backyards of the lots up on the hill. Coming down.
Are you planning to do something there?
I don't know, but it'd be easier to put some markings there before the new neighbor who's moving in decides he owns all the way.
So get Chris Graham to pay me to do it.
Oh. He
Yeah.
says he has money put aside for this project.
He is supposed to.
Why don't you present me with an estimate to accomplish that?
Okay. I'm happy to do this for free.
But that would require some surveying.
I would say, 'cause I'm not, the advantage here was I surveyed the horse farm.
Yep.
So the only problem here was a lot of my points were destroyed, so I had to kind of agree.
So if we're never gonna seriously walk in there, it might not be worth it, because I think the real true access is up from the cemetery and from the senior center.
No, it's important to always mark your boundaries,
So.
because if you don't mark your boundaries, this is what happens.
Right,
It goes away. It's very hard to get it back after.
right, after there's a fence along there.
Yeah,
Well, the thing is, you're gonna have neighbors there. Little nuisance, you're right.
so you just mark it as, this is ours.
So I did find some stakes when we walked it, but I think I found one.
And when we,
Yeah.
you and I found one, it was one of the back pins we found.
Right, one of the back ones, as you know.
And it's especially important if you don't plan to use it, because it very easily goes away.
Well,
We found that in Joshua's trust.
give me an estimate on what you would want, and I'll talk to Chris.
Okay.
You're talking about the property out here behind the cemetery and the senior center.
Yeah,
Except not that end, but the other end.
What's the other? one?
Of Thomas's.
off Tungsten,
Oh, okay, yep.
at the dead end of Tungsten, for access.
I'd say call data engineering, but I don't think he's not really doing much anymore. He did the original survey.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
Well,
not
Well,
Dana.
well, last night, but,
That was mine.
yeah, his partner's still. Ed called here.
Did he retire?
He's semi-retired, but a lot more semi-retired than I am. He doesn't work in the winter and he has a backhoe. When he comes up here, he does more work with his backhoe than his actual surveying. So I'm not sure how much surveying he does. I know because the crew he had ended up coming to work for the guy who bought my business.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have anybody working for him, so I don't think he's in a position to do anything.
The main surveyor of the whole East Haddam area, Bob Weaver just died.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, wow, I'm sorry to hear
so
that.
he had sold his business too. Was retired.
Yeah. That wasn't that long ago. It's scary, all the surveyors getting home.
Yes.
So the town manager.
It's funny, you go to a surveying convention, it's all these gray hairs. Not convention, but get together, Connecticut surveyors, everyone's got gray hair.
I do trail work and I'm the youngest one there.
Wow,
Yeah. Yeah, Joshua's trust is looking kind of aged too.
Go get a gun permit, we're all young kids. I was the oldest guy, I was like 40 years old, and anybody was there. And get a gun permit. We were in a class with, you know,
Oh, and NRA class?
all the young kids. Oh, jeez.
Okay, Hot River Trail Alliance, does anybody have a report?
I think the last I heard was the meeting we all went to.
They have a Facebook presence now, and
Okay.
they're sending a lot of stuff out.
Yeah, we got notes from that. They documented the minutes from that meeting.
I got the minutes.
And
So-
what's the Facebook? Oh, Hop River Alliance?
Yeah, it's like Hopper Trail Alliance and Facebook. Let me look and see if I can get it in.
Never gone on Facebook.
Never gone Facebook either.
Yep, it's Hop River Trail Alliance,
Okay,
Okay.
but it's the same people that did the Bolton Run Walk, whatever that is.
yeah. Okay, okay, here's the update on the Hot River Open Space and the History Society. So, I was assigned to start the management plan on that, and in working on that, I got a young man from the Conservation Commission who is, he tells me in about a week, he'll give me a nice report on what lives and grows out there. So he's doing the natural resource inventory. So
Who is
that's
that?
coming. Brandon. Oh, God, instead of some. I can't think of his last name. Anyway,
Not Keenan. No,
no,
He's new to the area.
no, he's new to the area. Oh, God, I don't know his name. It'll come to me later. Anyway, he's working on that part. And our resident human dynamo, Joe Hill, spends every morning out there from 7 a.m. until 10, sometimes later, clearing.
Brandon
You
McLean,
should see.
McLean, M-A-C,
Yes,
Clean.
thank you.
I looked to see what the Secretary of CCAG had written.
Yes,
My minutes,
Brendan McLean,
Brandon and Brandon,
B-R-E-N.
B-R-E-N.
Brandon,
Let me try it again. B-R-A-N-D-O-N.
Brandon.
Brandon.
And then Matt, M-A-C, Clean, C-L-E-A-N.
I'll just add to that, unless you were gonna say it anyway, Millie went to the historical meeting the other night. And apparently Joan has gotten the state archaeologists extremely excited over this site. And they want to designate it something or other, of being one of only 30 something or others designated in the state. But it sounds like they really are interested in it.
Yes.
The state archaeologists, Joan got involved with.
Yes.
Uh,
I think it'll happen. It just.
Yeah.
Had a little rough patch of course.
Yes, they brought that to the Board of Selectmen Tuesday night. And we had 3 representatives from Chicago. It's State Historic Preservation Office. SHPO. And what they do is if they find an appropriate site, they designate it as a state historic preserve. Now, that doesn't prevent you from doing stuff there, it just designates. It also opens up the opportunity for grant money. And we're pretty excited about that. And so they were all there for the board of selectmen, but one member of the board of selectmen had not yet availed themselves of the opportunity to go out and look at it, and so that person decided that and hold up until they had looked at it. And then, so that didn't go through Tuesday night, but it will soon, I think. So that gives it certain protections and certain opportunities for grant money. So in the meantime, Joan is out there just clearing ball area. And she's also clearing the recreation and she's cleaned out, she's made an alternate roadway for pathway. Yeah, yeah.
This one woman died of.
Yeah. I mean, you can walk through there.
Those are the
She's
outfit.
out there with her loppers, her chainsaw. I mean,
Oh.
that woman is 75 years old. She's out there with a chainsaw. And and her hedge trimmers. And she is so amazing. She's cleaned out many of the invasives. She cut down all the autumn olives. And brush painted it, so it won't come back. And that's the responsible way to use Roundup near water. So she cuts the autumn olive tree down, gets her little paintbrush, paints it. I mean, she does this for 100 of them. Amazing.
And that's, for those of us, that's a nasty side. I went up there when we first started, they surveyed that piece.
Yeah.
And that end where the old foundations were, you couldn't walk through this.
Salt marker.
It's completely different now.
I couldn't see that.
Yeah.
It was,
Wouldn't leave it. I thought DPW had done it when I went in and looked at it.
No, just Joan.
I know.
Just Joe,
Well,
no help.
she sucked me in and I'll be down there with her tomorrow doing some work too. So,
God bless you.
I can't say no to her.
So, you know, the town owes that, owes Joanna a huge debt of gratitude. Anyway, she is the driving force behind this, movement to get Chabot in there and to do an archaeological dig there. And she's very excited about it. And so everything we can do to support her is important. So that's the update on that. She also, I think you helped her load her lawnmower, because she has a bad back too.
No, I wasn't a part of that. Somehow I got out of that. Somebody else helped her.
Oh, okay. So she loads the lawnmower into the trunk of her car, drives it down there and mows the field.
jeez. Push move,
What?
the push move.
Yeah.
We should all feel guilty.
Yeah, really. What's wrong with us?
Can you turn the air conditioning up? I'll get hot.
Get all that work.
But she is just amazing. Labor of love, because she's been very interested in the site and has put together the history of it for many, many years. She has interviewed Ted Newman, who lives next door. And of course, he knows a lot. She has spent months in the bowels of the state, this history museum, researching the records, and she's put together the whole thing. I'm pretty sure if she lives long enough, we're gonna see a book about it, because she runs books usually. And just one,
Yeah, her last book here was all about the mills.
yes, in the
Had no
summer.
idea that there were so many mills until I did.
Oh, yeah. And
And she wondered what they did when you went through periods like this.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, it would have been shut down now, but when I walked the, Moorish River, East Hampton owns open space all the way up to Moorish River. And I walked it with a gentleman like Joan, in East Hampton.
Yeah.
And he showed me every mill, they were all staged, and he showed me where they would reserve the water. Run the mill, and then the next mill would capture all that water as it comes down. And then they run their mill, and they all had different bells, and they chime for the workers to know when their mill was about to start. And everybody run in and get ready, and then they turn the mill on and use that water, and then they'll go down to the next mill. Can you imagine?
Wasn't that efficient?
oh, yes,
I mean, who knows, maybe you only get
Yeah.
3 hours of sewing, or net making.
on the Ugly Brook, there's.
You can see that same thing?
You can see the same thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Cool. That's neat.
They very efficient. Anyhow, so that's the story, and very shortly we should see. Hello, Mr. Everett, would you like to join?
No, not at all. I'm sure you're doing wonderful work. We were looking at volunteers going to the woods. Any suggestions? You take it to me?
You just
I'm just saying hello.
say hi, okay. Okay, Salmon River Watershed Partnership, any news there?
No,
No. They were supposed to have a meeting last night. It was scheduled, but Pat Young got sick. Well, she had an operation, kept her from talking. So it's now next week,
Next,
Wednesday. And town managers are invited.
okay. Is it reserved?
Yeah, it's also
And it'll be on,
Zoom.
Wednesday night?
Wednesday. Yeah. 7 o'clock.
on Zoom?
Yeah.
Okay,
All right, so there's probably an email on that.
There will be, I don't know if you get all that. I'll make sure you, because you get it from me.
okay. And you all understand we're in that partnership because of.
Ms. Brooke,
Look,
a tiny contributor.
yes, but we're
But
at the
it's
top.
not, nonetheless, it's got wide.
Pure start.
Yeah.
You're a star.
Wake of the clouds. Mount Washington is the start of the Interstocker River. It's the Stocker River, one of them, can't remember which, big Stocker River.
Water has to start
That's
somewhere.
interesting that they can. Yeah, it is. Is that how it's just like?
Yeah.
And all that.
Okay, we have no update from Honor, she's on vacation. And so I've heard nothing about input or in the state plans or any. And
I would just like to say something about the trust. And I brought this up maybe 2 years ago, but I just got an email from Amazon. There is a really painless way you can contribute to the Trust for Public Land. If you buy your Amazon products through Amazon Smile, it's actually a separate website. It's Amazon Smile, but it's everything. You still have your Prime membership and everything else on it. But you can designate someone for Amazon to donate to. And you can use, like I've used the Trust for Public Land, well, ever since we've been involved in it. And they sent this email out this morning saying that they have contributed, through this process, they've contributed $8,000 to the trust. So it's like found money.
not just you.
Oh, no. Well, I was a significant contributor,
Especially during the.
but I mean, it's not costing you anything. It's just a fractional percentage of your purchases goes into charitable donations.
Well, is this a subset of Amazon?
Well, it is Amazon, but
It is.
you have to make your purchases through Amazon Smile. So
Have you
just,
say into where it goes?
yeah, you can pick out the charity.
Okay, so that's a.
You can-
I mean, they probably have a million charities. They say that they have
Mine
given,
goes to Joshua's Trust.
they have given $403 million to charity. Rah. But you at least can designate a small portion.
And I've been doing it too. It's automatic. Once you set it up. it
Yeah.
does
That
automatically.
was so great.
Yeah, and it's not costing you anything. It's just there.
Really is just 2 clicks. I've never done it, so.
I didn't know either.
Yeah,
As we speak.
and it's, yeah, it's a good thing. It's famous. Thank you for bringing that up. Okay, new business. I think we beat Siobhan to death under old business.
I have one thing to add.
Okay, please do.
Bill O'Neill's is our liaison with the guide to East Coast Greenway. And we're part of East Coast Greenway, which is this section,
The Hot
the
River
Hop River,
is part of the East Coast.
right? So the big stumbling block with this is the state is decided to go to sleep and they're not building the walking path across from Maine Moose. That project's still on hold. So, but Bill asked me, at your convenience, can we meet? I want to show you a recent East Coast Greenway publication, which he dropped off. I was in another meeting. We need your diplomacy to greet the Hartford Marathon Foundation relay runners that are going to run the 90 miles from Rhode Island to Hartford, and the Timberland cyclists that will travel from Canada to New York. Can you find a way to allow runners and cyclists to be greeted with a rest stop welcome sign at the tunnel that has been closed? So that's the tunnel at
Under Flanders.
Is it Flanders? Yeah, Flanders Road Bridge.
Yep.
You know, that tunnel that you could have walked.
I
Between
have
that-
one. Why is it closed?
The DEP did not want to encourage people to scamper across the dangerous remains of the bridge that has not been torn down, that they're going to replace. Yes, it's a dead end, but it could be marked as such. It would be a great rest stop. The broken bridge is marked on the west end to protect the trail users. There's a history of finger pointing that has denied the trail users and local businesses. Maybe things have cooled. Can we discuss this? Once I share the out of print trail guide, New Haven to Providence, a trail map of Hartford to Willimantic, perhaps you can email the East Coast Greenway and request a reprint and free copies. If willing, I would offer my email. So anyway, I have to find out when this race is. I know we approved it, the Board of Selectmen, so I have the documentation, but I just got this yesterday. I haven't talked about it.
So you want us to man a lemonade stand in front of the bridge?
That's what
The
Bill's
tunnel,
idea is, and
And we tell them,
I know,
go this way.
Right, don't-
On to Flanders Road and.
and come around, right? So we'd be kind of the tour guide to Flanders to, what's that next left?
Kings.
King, Flanders to King, and keep going. And here's the lemonade.
Why is that an open space function?
I don't know. I don't know what to do with this yet. 'Cause
I'm taking it to every committee.
I don't know where I'm gonna get my lemonade, rots, and
Read the economic development is not somebody.
maybe Maine Moose will do hot dogs to do by.
So this, the relay is August 27th.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, so that's coming up very soon.
Let's why he's here.
I know,
Saturday, August 27th.
okay. Well, that's coming fast.
Yeah.
What?
27th, next Saturday.
That's what it's, well, that, on the Harvard Marathon Foundation.
Yeah, Hartford Marathon Foundation relay.
Yeah, it's called the RINA.
You mean Saturday after this one coming up?
Correct.
Right, RINA con relay.
We,
Yeah.
this-
Week from this coming.
Right, we not this Saturday, the following.
Better not be this coming week.
And who knows, maybe Bill has volunteers, he just wants us to help him.
I just sent you the link.
Thank you.
oh,
So you're in the know. That's passion for the con relay.
Well, it's an open space.
You might be able to get, just
Hot River is an open space.
got a request on the, Columbia, what is it? Columbia, something. All things Columbia, there's probably somebody there with their water. They're probably gonna do it.
yeah. My daughter usually runs.
Yeah, maybe we just tell the residents, make that your point of encouragement,
Or make them aware that the event exists and
right?
that people want to be greeters, that'd be a good spot for them.
That's good.
Make it unofficial and be done with it.
Where are they starting in Providence?
Yes,
Yeah,
See if they. Figure the timing somehow.
and Rhode Island to Hartford. And
yeah.
then another group's Canada to New York, I don't know if they merge.
Yeah, my daughter has.
This East Coast
Run.
relay.
Oh, they're gonna go to the.
Yeah, and all gonna be-
Oh,
So somebody just brought it to. to do that.
You don't want to do
Ten.
Route 6 at all.
Okay. Yeah, put that, because I can't.
This is us.
yeah.
And this is the.
Did we get those, Tom,
There.
when we went to that,
Well, yeah, that's
when we
confusing.
went
I
to
got
the
confused by that
Harvard
one.
Trail Lines? Did we get those maps?
I think that was Mark had those, right? Those maps, they came from you?
I only had one.
Okay.
Now I had two.
We may have,
Years ago.
because the airline trail map, which is very simple.
I did the full level.
Okay, we have one more item here, and that is the Cobb Farm. And I handed out these maps.
Is it that big?
Oh, it is, it's 3 separate parcels. I think it's something like, almost 200 acres. It's only CRPD. Okay, Kristen Cobb, you may have seen the sign for Runaway Farm on Lake Road. This is that farm. Kristen came to me several years ago and asked if I could help her to sell her development rights. She needs, like every other farmer, she needs cash. And so I talked to her and said, you know, what do you envision for this farm in the next 100 years? And she said, I wanted to always be a farmer. She said, I don't ever want to be anything but a farmer. So I said, well, we can help you. And so I helped her wade through the paperwork. And I act as her agent because Kristen Kristen is a real horse whisperer. But paperwork and bureaucracy are not a good thing. So, so we submitted the application. And it's been a long process, but I heard back from the state. And she did not qualify for the big grant, which is farmland preservation. But the man did say she qualifies for the community farmland preservation program. This is the program that the Catsman Farm in
No, it's
2014,
called the community.
community farmland preservation. The Catsman property, which we facilitated the conservation of that farmland, was a pilot program for this community. Well, prior to that, it had always been just farmland preservation. And for that, you have to have more land, more soil. Most of it is based on how much prime agricultural soil you're concerned. That is what this program is interested in. Is prime soil. So they think that and he said she did qualify for the community. It's a little less money. But it still conserves the land.
And it's still a state program.
Helps her out. It's a state program. However, years ago, when the Robinson Farm, Skyline Farm, was conserved, the town did not participate in any way, shape, or form. All of it came from the state. And I don't think the town even knew about it. However, as time went by, the Department of Agriculture required, and it now requires municipal participation. So that means that the town has to contribute money or possibly do the appraisal on the property, those kinds of things. So they do have to participate. And because of that, it will have to go to town meeting. So that's where we come in. We need to, I need Kristen needs your support on this for us to smooth the way with the municipality and convince them that this is a good thing. And also we need to be sure to alert people who care to come to the town meeting. Now, if you look at the map, this is Columbia Lake watershed. It also, this map does not show the watershed line, but it's also watershed for Andover. So it is possible that Columbia could contact Andover to contribute to the better shape of the cost of this. But it is a crucial piece for the Columbia Lake watershed. And aside from being very good farming, which is very important to conserve, because I don't know if you've been following what's going on in California, but but the Colorado River is drying up. And Colorado River feeds the country. All the farmland in the Salinas Valley is fed by that river. And pretty soon we're going to, the local farmland is going to become very, very important to us. Because California is either gonna dry up and turn into a desert, or there'll be an earthquake and slide into the sea. So.
You're a lot, optimistic.
Sounds.
What's your choice?
That's it.
Get fired.
Yeah. All burn up. And 90% of fruit and vegetables in this country come from California. Think about that for a minute.
So I was listening, but I lost track. What dollar amount are we looking for Columbia and Andover to contribute?
I don't want to be.
Is
I
it?
remember we did, I remember we did.
They-
Like
they-
$10,000 was attachment we did. I remember doing one of those. We had to contribute money.
They
You probably didn't hear it.
That was one.
don't quote me on this, but what I remember is that the state did 65% and the town had to do 35.
You talking six figures or are you?
I don't know what the offer is.
That was relatively small.
It was. It
This is a lot
was-
bigger. So it was 40, yeah, that was 45.
Yeah.
This is-
So it's percentage. The state usually gets, Connecticut Farmland Trust to kick in. On every deal I've been involved with, Farmland Trust has contributed to the share to take some of the weight off the municipality.
We had a history with the comp farm. I remember walking that many years ago, and it did not get approved. I think I'll go through it that time, but I don't remember why.
I think you're absolutely right. Kristen's father came to the town and said, "I'll sell you my development rights for 200,000." That's what he said. And I'll tell you, that was a real bargain. But this committee, when and it was in the winter, and so the lake didn't, the lake was not looking. They all had their backs to the watershed and their eyes on the water. And they didn't get it, how important the watershed was. And that was probably 15 years ago. The lake people do largely to Mary Oracle. In the Columbia Lake Association, she turned on that around and educated everybody. They're very concerned about the watershed now. And so, you know, and it just went. This, however, Kristen has done a huge amount of work on this farm. When we looked at it, probably 3/4 of it was forest.
Yeah, I remember there wasn't a lot of farm.
I know, there wasn't, and now there's a whole lot. Because she has not only clear cut forest to turn it into pasture and hay lot, but she has removed the rocks. And the difference between good agricultural soil and prime is that prime, you've removed the rocks. You should see some of the rocks she pulled out of there. They're the size of a Volkswagen. Amazing, and they're all lined up from the edge. And there's beautiful bush grass growing. She's also raising bees and planting blueberries and sunflowers. So she has done a whole lot to that farm.
Surprised farm.
Hmm?
I'm surprised farm and real farm proposed a big food.
Well. Yeah, I don't know. As I say, we haven't gotten that far. I'm gonna meet with the guy. And when I had to get the soils maps for this from the NRCS during COVID, that took me 3 freaking years.
We've done some farm in Lebanon, they get money for almost anything over there. What farm?
Yeah, so, Simon Lebeck in Iowa, that's the rep who's coming. He and I talked this. Let's see.
Because we just did one recently, I bet you half of it was like swamp and woods, and they preserved it all on farmland preservation.
Yep. They will.
They're
Because,
cornfields, it's because they're
Yeah.
cornfields.
and they also look at the proximity to other. But the soils map I got is a soils map, they didn't come out and look at it. And so I had somebody I know in NRCS who has taken the soils designation. And he's a forester. So I had him look at it, and I said, you know this property, look at this map, it's not right. So he went out and he made me a map that's annotated, like, this is classified wrong. This has had the rocks removed, now it's prime.
Oh, so they were judging it based on all maps.
Yeah,
Okay.
on these standardized maps that were made.
There's maps about this big, it's covering the whole town of Columbia, they zero in little specs. They're ridiculous.
They are,
We used to make it, like they still do on subdivision, but they make it pretty soil, subdivision maps. And we all do, they aren't real, because to actually know where a wetland is, you have to have the soil scientists come out and actually locate it. Yeah, they're close, but they're not exact. And so it doesn't make every type of soil, it's just, I don't know how they do it, I don't know what kind of technology is, they can zoom in on and cover a whole town.
So if you actually redid it and then reapply, would you be able to get
well,
into?
in the application, I sent in my son's annotated map. And I said, I had to start look at it. Didn't mention how we were related, but I said, I think this bears a second look.
Okay.
And
That's
so,
what we are now.
so Simon's coming out Tuesday, but we'll walk him. And we'll be sure, and we'll show him those boulders.
Well, according to the town planner in Lebanon, they now have preserved every bit of farmland that they want to preserve. Wow. They've done, and I know they've done a lot, 'cause we did most of the surveys,
Yes,
and so we're the next town over, so stop bringing money over here now.
no, I don't think the money is the problem. And they have tons of applications. Farming is on an uptick now.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
so
What
I
time is
mean,
it? Tuesday.
10.
Ten?
Wanna come?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the story. And after we bought this property, and I have more information, I'll keep you up on it. But I'm really excited about this because it is farmland.
It makes sense, you look at how it's located.
And it also conserves Columbia Lake, which is, Columbia Lake is not, a prime, pristine water, but it's so important to the town. Recreation. That, well,
Taxes.
there you go.
Have you done a presentation to Lake Advisory about this?
Oh, I will, but I wanted to talk to Simon first. So I just wanted to let little straw vote. Are you, how are you people feeling about this? Are you in favor of pursuing this?
I think we'd be crazy not to.
What do you think? Rick?
Absolutely, we should keep working, keep working at it.
It makes perfect sense when you just, when you look at it, it's right in the middle of all this stuff.
Oh, what do you
And it's
think?
large enough.
You're on mute.
Yeah, there I am. Yeah, I mean, I've talked to Chris before, and I know Christopher also. And they have nice land back there, and it is definitely something that would help preserve the lake. So I'm all for it.
Good, thank you.
Looks like the property is right down to almost where the little beach is there on Arizona Road.
Yes.
It's where the stream
It
is.
does.
No, that's right. I just, if people didn't know, I just wanted to say
And
that.
if you look at the map, it comes right in. And that just happens to be a wetland. So this whole property drains right into the lake. And, yeah,
That's what it looks like on the map. Yeah. You got two spots that go into the lake.
yes. Yep, definitely.
Now, this says Columbia Lake, Road, isn't that ugly? Where did Columbia Lake do?
Columbia Lake Brook is what they call it on the downhill side on the, from north of the dam. Yeah.
So is that what Paul's saying, this is ugly and small? This here? I'm coming to work, I take it this is 66,
Yes,
so when I look to the left, I think that's the swamp.
Follow Columbia Lake, look up.
This is what.
he was saying this. This is her different.
Depending on which map we're going, they call it sawmill.
This is
Oh, so this is not.
a town, not
Oh, that's a town line, never mind. I was just.
66.
This is over this side,
You
okay,
can't see.
got it.
But the Oakley Brook is. Columbia River Brook, so Joshua's trust.
Yeah, it's
Okay. Okay. Well,
it's in
Thank
back of all these
you,
lots.
and-
Everybody here should be
and-
on board with it. Yeah, anybody that wants this should be there. All the homeowners.
Yeah. Definitely.
Be a lot
I'm
of.
sure they will. And so I'm hoping to move this along before. I don't know the timing, but I suppose most of the lake people are permanent residents. I'm not sure, but you know, the vote, we would like to get lake residents there. But if we do this town meeting in January, for instance, a lot of them won't be around. But we'll
What's your favorite timeline? on this? How close are we to this? Any idea? No?
Not sure. I'll know more on Tuesday, but I thought I'd fill you in. And when I have all the details, we'll take a formal vote with the board selectmen. And encourage them to support this. And
Well, what is Simon's name, last name?
Levesque,
How do you spell that?
Levy.
Levesque, Leves.
LEVES.
QUE. And Simon for that.
Okay.
It's the.
Are you getting close to doing adjourn at this point? Because I had three little things to.
Oh,
Wait, close.
yeah, I'm done unless you have questions.
You have 3 minutes for 3 points.
Okay. So as we're getting all these management plans and stuff, trying to figure out the structure of how these committees would be and what they'd be under. So I'd really like to see it all under some kind of a structure where you have Zecca Farm, the Monopond, Mint Brook, and the Hot River, all under something, whether it's under conservation and ag, and then those each be subcommittees or something. And then
And for what, implementation of.
management, so the key,
Plans.
so it's like for me, I might be interested in all three. And I don't really need three separate meetings if it was all. Come up with whatever you wanna call it, a catch-all for town-owned management properties. And then each of those,
And that makes a huge amount of sense to put it under conservation.
Yeah.
Because this committee is more acquisition. You know, we do the due diligence. But, you know, Rob surveys and, you know, and we talk to people, we hear grounds well.
it's just one of those things where you have 50
Research,
different committees, it dilutes the volunteer. Whereas it's all under somehow an umbrella. Okay, next Saturday, we're gonna be down at the Hot River, the following Saturday, boom, boom, boom.
Yep.
The next thing I had was, Second Farm this year, we're allowing bow hunting out there.
Yep.
So last night, the two bow hunters that have been approved, I did a walk around with them, showed them the properties. That looks like that's gonna be, they're definitely very experienced. Cause I was giving them ideas of hunt, where to hunt, they were, nah, that's not where I hunt. I'm like, okay. And then of course, three big deer jumped off of the hayfield, so it's like, yeah, well, they're in here.
Yep.
The other thing is the Friends of Model Pond group that we're forming. I'm still working with Henry Beck to get all the legal stuff in place, and I was originally scheduled to meet with him tonight, but he's had to reschedule into next week. But still moving forward. So, yeah, that's cool.
Yep.
Okay, that's all I had.
All right.
okay, thank you, John. And, can we make that happen with conservation? Do the board select them to come to you? Say the farming and management, maybe, I don't know.
Why don't you and I work up some language
Okay,
and then we'll present it to the board and they can bless it.
it can be a,
Because no one's gonna. argue.
no,
Makes sense, okay.
right, because this group is not huge on getting out there with flowers.
Okay, when you do a lemonade stand.
So, yeah, it makes more sense. I'm concentrating. Okay, any other business? Paul, do you have any comment?
The only thing I want to say is I appreciate these Zoom access to the meeting because it's very hard to get out of the house. At this time of the year, because we're so busy, but
Yeah,
appreciate it.
okay. We're glad to do that. And it usually works out well when we have people like Honor Lawler, because she's in New Haven.
Right.
So, yeah,
Right.
so we'll continue to do that.
Okay.
It does
Okay.
work really good.
Yep. Well, thank you for attending.
Yep.
Okay, any other board member comments? Okay, we are adjourned at 10:03.